everyone, I'm Regine.
And I'm Kayla.
Thank you for joining us on Real Talk.
New episodes are available every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m.
On our podcast, we offer our opinions and advice on various situations and questions from our listeners.
You can submit your questions or scenarios through Spotify, or if you're not using Spotify, email us at talktorealtalk@gmail.com.
You can choose to remain anonymous if you would like.
With that said, let's get started with today's episode.
Okay, question number 1. I recently made a new friend and later on I learned that in the past she was sexually involved with the man I am currently developing a relationship with. Something to keep in mind is when I first brought her up to him, he did not disclose their past together. I don't feel comfortable knowing that they have history. I'm not sure if I want to continue being friends.
I can see how this is a little bit frustrating, trying to balance two relationships that kind of cross paths in a sense. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if it makes you uncomfortable, like, you're gonna have to end one of the relationships if you feel like it's just that extreme. But one thing I will say is the only little thing that I'm seeing is he was a little hesitant to tell you something, which kind of falls into the trust category of the relationship. And I feel like that's the main thing that you should take in consideration if you're developing a relationship with someone. I would take this more say as a lesson. And although you may choose not to be friends with her no longer, I would definitely speak with him on the topic. Just because I feel like this should have came up a little bit sooner. Right off the bat, because you had enough time to develop a relationship with her and a friendship, and he didn't say it up front, then I feel like it's a little bit concerning. Yeah, it's a little concerning, I'll be honest. So I say, personally, I wouldn't get rid of a friend because of that. I understand how it's a little uncomfortable. I would speak to her and see what the situation was, kind of go based off of that. If it was a long time ago, personally, I wouldn't really see it as, I wouldn't see it as that bad, personally. I mean, things happen. That's kind of like relating it to someone being in kindergarten and having their first kiss with someone. I personally wouldn't say, oh, well, I don't think I can be friends with you because you had your first kiss with her or him in kindergarten. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it. Once again, it's completely up to you.
Okay, yeah. So what I have to say is that you have to know that everyone has a past, and whether you like it or not, like there's going to be some things in that past that you don't like. And you have to think, well, does this affect our future together? And unless the person is going to be a reoccurring figure in the future, then I wouldn't be too worried about it, because the past is the past, and sometimes you forget the past until it's brought to your attention, And then not the pop. And then for future references, if this is something that you might want to keep in mind, you can ask ahead of time things about their past. Like, you don't have to be just like, oh, who's everyone you've been with? But, you can ask for like a little summary or rundown. And if it makes them feel easier, you can, talk about your own past and everything. So you guys are sharing together. And that could be something that helps ease your mind a little bit. Because if you know this is something, if it happened again later on, that it would upset you or frustrate you or affect your relationships, then it can be a talk that you have. And it doesn't have to be confrontational or like an interrogation. It could just be like, oh, like back in the day, this, and that. And honestly, I think you're going to have to talk to one or both of them and let them know how you feel and be honest about it. Because honesty and trust are two big parts of having a relationship, a friendship, any type of thing like that. Because if you can't trust someone, and if you can't be honest with them, then what do you have at the end of the day? It's kind of just, it's going to be based on lies or secrecy and everything. And
it kind of shows where your maturity level is.
Exactly. So yeah, and then it's up to you ultimately if you want to keep being friends after speaking with her or him about the situation, and based on how they respond and how you feel in conclusion, maybe after the conversation, sleep on it and really think about it and think about how this is going to affect the future. And if it doesn't have any effect on the future, then you can leave it in the past. But if you know later on you're going to be thinking about it, or if, let's say, it's your friend's birthday party, and let's say you've been with this man for some months now, and you have a +1, and you really want to bring him, but their past together, is that going to be something that you're not going to be able to deal with? So, yeah, that's always good to just keep that in mind, and then decide after thinking about those situations and after sleeping on it. Yeah. Okay, so on to question number 2. I'm struggling with body image issues, and I'm having trouble feeling confident in my own skin. I'm not sure how to overcome these feelings and feel more comfortable in my body.
Okay, well, to be completely honest, I've dealt with my own body image issues. And so the only way I've seen how to get past it, I know people say to build confidence, but for me, building confidence sometimes is a part of your appearance. And so if you want to look a certain way, I believe you can build a safe and healthy habit to get that way. Now it's through building routines and just reassuring yourself that you can do it along the way. It doesn't have to be this just depressing kind of mindset of, oh, I don't look this way, how am I ever going to get this way? Because that it's a pattern that never gets you nowhere. You see yourself going down the deep end because you don't like how you're looking, and then you just fall deeper into it. Okay, so change the pattern.
Right.
You see it, so let's just kind of push forward, try to progress in the healthiest way so that it's sustainable and so that you can keep looking the way you want to look and how you feel more confident. Because the world's going to tell you, okay, you need to be confident in your own skin, which is very true. You should be. But being confident in your own skin is a little bit deeper than that. Although it might be based off of appearance, if you don't feel like yourself, you're not going to act like yourself. You're not going to be your best self. That happens with work, school, just life in general. How you carry yourself is based off of a whole lot more than just how you look.
Yeah, so definitely, I've always felt like if you didn't like the way that you look, something about yourself, and you're able to change it in a healthy, safe way, then I believe that you should go and change it. Like, if you've gained some weight and everything, losing weight is something that's very attainable. Now, for from person to person, it's going to look different, and your journey is going to be different, and it could be easier for you and harder for someone else. So that is something to keep in mind. But if you're able to change it, I believe in changing it in a safe and healthy way. Don't go and start doing things like getting procedures done in basements or on the black market and everything like that. Always go and do it safely, and try to do it in a natural way first, depending on what it is. If you want to go through with weight loss, for example, try to lose weight naturally, eating right and exercising, versus immediately just going in for lipo or something like that. Try to do it naturally, because it's going to be less risk and less money too. Because if you are able to lose that 40 pounds or whatever naturally, you saved thousands of dollars. Versus if you would have went in for lipo, you would have had to deal with recovery and all that. And then plus, with things like weight loss, when you change your lifestyle around it, you're able to maintain those results. Versus if you went in for lipo and everything, maybe you didn't change your eating habits, so you gain the weight back. So that is one thing. Try to do it naturally and do it in a way that's sustainable. And then also, another way to get more comfortable is to focus on self-care. Because if it's your appearance that you're insecure about, let's say you have acne, or you just feel like you can generally look better, then doing things like getting your eyebrows done every couple weeks, or going in for fills for your nails, or getting your hair done, or doing your own hair at home, you can slowly but surely build up those things and have them to where you know that you like them to be a certain way and to look a certain way, so you can have your routine for it. And just when you have your routine, things are going to stay the way that you like them. Sometimes you might fall off a little bit, but what's important is getting back onto your schedule and not letting things go out too far or go off schedule for too long. And then it's also important to think a positive affirmation over a negative thought, kind of like what Kayla was saying, instead of just being depressed and focusing on what you don't like and getting yourself in such a negative headspace. Like, let's go back to losing weight. So instead of being like, oh, I'm so big right now, you can think, oh, well, yes, I'm big, but I'm focusing on getting healthier and everything. I'm focusing on becoming more fit. So you're not just all day just bashing yourself. You're keeping a positive outlook and knowing that what's in your present is not going to be in your future. Like, you have better things to look forward to. And another thing is to surround yourself with supportive people and people that understand what you're trying to do with your appearance and everything. If you're trying to change something, like if you're going on a diet, you don't need someone around you that's going to be talking badly about dieting, or they're always going to be trying to encourage you to eat the wrong foods and all kinds of things like that. You need people around you that are going to be like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I know this is a goal you're trying to achieve, and I want to make sure that you stay on track. You don't need anyone pulling you down and you're already struggling to get up there. And the last tip that I have is, if you're able to see a therapist, because they're trained to help you with these kind of things. I know some people, they've had complaints about therapists or whatever, but that's when you have to go to a couple different ones to see who's the right match for you, and they'll help you overcome it or to cope a little bit, so that you're not just down in the dumps all day every day. Yep. Okay, and question number 3. I'm having trouble sleeping at night, and I'm always tired during the day. I'm not sure what's causing my insomnia, and I'm worried that it's affecting my health.
So I have my own trouble sleeping at night, so I'm just gonna tell you a few things that sometimes works for me. I know it's not good to take melatonin gummies constantly because then your body relies on it to go to sleep. So I don't recommend taking those every night. But if you feel like you're really having a hard time and it's kind of diminishing your health, I would recommend taking a gummy and, trying to find a solution in the meanwhile. One thing I know is cell phones and televisions. If you have a television in your room, I highly recommend taking it out because you'll be tempted to turn it on. And with leaving the TV on, even if you were to go to sleep at one point and kind of crash, you might wake up and then you see the television on and you'll want to keep yourself going. And same thing with your phone. So if you can put it on Do Not Disturb or put it somewhere further away where you won't want to get up to go turn it on, I would recommend that. And then also another thing would be white noise, or calming sounds. I put my headphones on at night and turn on the white noise and knock out real fast. And yeah, or exercising. I know if you exercise, usually you get really tired, maybe take a shower right after. That usually, it's just like kids when you take them to the park and then they come home, you put them in the bath and they go right to sleep. Same thing with us.
Right. Yeah, so I would definitely, if you feel that it's affecting your health, definitely try to speak to your healthcare provider because there may be some underlying conditions, and you want to make sure that if it's anything serious that you're having that tended to, because you don't want it to go on too long and just get out of proportion, or you have to be on all these medications and everything. You want to try to nip whatever it is in the bud. But in the meantime, I would say to try to schedule your sleep as best as you can. Like, know when you're done for the day with all your work and all your cleaning and chores and everything like that, and try to schedule your sleep for right after that and have a big window. So it's not like you only have 6 hours to sleep and it's going to take you 2 to 3 hours to sleep. So now you don't even have any time where you're actually in sleep, because it's different when you're lying in bed versus when you're being asleep. Because if me, for example, I know when I get in bed, I don't go to sleep for another hour, an hour and a half after. So I wouldn't count that hour and a half before as scheduling it as I'm going to be asleep for that time. So even if you might have to take out some fun things and everything like that. So I know that that first hour to hour and a half is not going to actually be used on sleep. So you want to make sure, even if it goes into cutting out things like Kayla was saying, watching TV. If you spend too much time watching TV and that's taking up time where you could be trying to go to sleep or just laying in bed, getting in the mood to go to sleep, then you're going to have to cut that out. And then if you do have the TV in your room and you don't want to take it out, you can use that for playing your white noise. I usually play rain noises or singing bowls and things like that. Or you can simply type in like white noise, brown noise on YouTube and have that on if you must have the TV in your room and you must have something on it. And I would also say to try to avoid caffeine if it's going to be close to time when you're going to be going to sleep, or even hours before, because it still is in your system, and that can be causing you to stay awake too, or be very jittery, and you want to be calming down. And that's my last thing, is to try to have a wind down routine where, like Kayla was saying, you're not on your phone, and maybe you can do some calming stretches or meditation if you're into that. and, have your white noise going on and everything, to where you're getting your body used to, or in the mode of, okay, I'm calming down, I'm getting ready for bed. So it's not like you go from doing something high energy and then all of a sudden you're back in the bed. And, there wasn't any time for your body to get in the mood for going to sleep. Yep. Thank you again for listening to Real Talk.
We hope you found our advice and opinions helpful.
Please keep in mind that we are not professionals and our advice is based solely on our personal experiences and perspectives.
So take our advice with a grain of salt and always consult with a professional when necessary.
New episodes are available every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m.
If you have any questions or scenarios you'd like to discuss with us, you can submit it through Spotify or email us at talktorealtalk@gmail.com.
You can specify if you would like us to post your situation to our Instagram at @TalkToRealTalk to get opinions from other listeners in the comment.
And follow us there to stay up to date on our latest episodes and share with your friends so they can join the conversation too.
You can leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube with a pink and orange heart emoji for a chance to be featured on our Instagram as comment of the day.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Real Talk.
Goodbye.